like we try to do as much as we can here on Zoo FM, is have some lovely guests here in the studio. So again, we have joining us this morning, Dubbo Mayor Matthew Dickerson. How are you going this morning, Matt?
I feel all special now. You're calling me a lovely guest. Thank you very much. I'm sure other people in Dubbo call me other names besides lovely guest.
Oh, it's just nice to have someone to talk to face.
Yeah, true.
I don't get to see who I'm talking to most mornings, which is a shame.
The interesting thing is, as a radio announcer, when you're talking, you don't really know definitely that someone's out there listening. I'm sure there are thousands listening, but right at that moment when you're talking, is someone listening to me right now? I'm not sure. So it's got to be a lonely existence, I think.
Well, so I'm told that lots of people listen. We do quite well here on the station, and then I do have some local friends sometimes reference things that I'll say or jokes I'll make on air. So I'm like, oh, that's very nice, and especially when we have a good lineup of music.
Yeah, right.
They'll let me know, and I was like, it's not me. Well, some of it is.
Take credit. Take full credit for it. Anything that's good, take credit.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, we better get on topic, because I could talk about the niceties of things. That would be a nice change of pace. But I've just got some concerning news. I got here in front of me a hijacked plane alert at the Dubbo Regional Airport.
This was a really interesting one. So we've got an airport. Council owns an airport. Most people are vaguely aware of that. Not a lot of councils own an airport, but we own an airport. And so as the mayor, there are times that I have to actually exercise emergency powers. I don't actually have much power, because my power is really the decision of council. When council votes, I've got my little hand that goes up, and I'm one of 10 votes that goes up. But every now and again, there might be something that happens. It might happen in flood times, for example, occasionally in bushfire. But I got a message the other day to say, be on the ready. You might need to make a decision. We've got a hijacked plane coming into Dubbo Airport. And I've gone, holy truth, this is terrible. This is a terrible situation to have. Of course, the airport, we've got some great stuff there. They're on lockdown. They locked down the terminal itself. No other flights can come in or out. There was a plane coming in from Orange that had said, we've got a hijack situation. Australian Federal Police were getting on board a plane at Bankstown to come out to negotiate with this hijack. So it was full on alert. In the end, it was a simple mistake that had been made, and every plane has got an emergency frequency they broadcast on to actually say to people subtly, without saying, I'm being hijacked. They can turn on to an emergency frequency that alerts everyone that this plane is in a hijack situation. For whatever reason, that plane had accidentally gone on to the emergency frequency for hijack. So there was no hijack. The plane in question had one person on board. So he probably would be difficult to hijack himself in that situation. So it's a funny situation in the end, but it was pretty serious there for about 5 or 10 minutes when everything was happening, because this plane was coming in that was hijacked.
That'd be a scary thing to hear.
Well, absolutely right. Now, the last thing you want to see is a message come through to say there's a hijacked plane coming into the airport. And again, you can imagine there were police that were taking over the airport here, our staff were locking everything down. So it was actually a really good real-world test of our emergency response situation. But yeah, in the end, thankfully, it was okay. Now, you can just imagine this poor guy flying in from Orange. If it had continued on as it was, he would have been coming along to land, and wow, why are all these police cars out here? What's going on? There's no other traffic coming in. I don't know what's happening here. But again, and I haven't found out yet whether or not it was an accidental change to the emergency frequency on his radio, or it was actually a faulty radio. But I suspect it was just accidental that he changed to the wrong frequency and then went, oh, whoops, that's the wrong frequency, and then turned back to the right frequency that he was meant to be on.
Oh my God. Well, I guess maybe, Canada is a training exercise, just to make sure he's working. And I guess it's sometimes the best examples is when things go wrong for new people that may be learning, don't do this because this just happened.
That's right. And I think the thing is that it did test our emergency response, and it's obviously a much better situation than a real hijack situation. But we've still had to go through and give a report to the Department of Home Affairs, because this was potentially a hijack situation here on our soil. So yeah, it was a pretty bad situation, but again, it turned out to be good in the end. So well done to all our staff, well done to the AFP, everyone. You're all ready, and everything was going to happen as it should have been.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm glad. Just reading this note in front of me, I was thinking I didn't hear anything, so it must have been all right. But I'm glad to hear it was okay.
Good in the end.
The best of a potentially bad situation.
That's right.
And on a lighter note, so we've got some nominations open for the Australia Day Awards.
Absolutely right. This is something that's I love Australia Day. It's fantastic. You get to basically talk about what a great country we live in, what a great melting pot of different people. I mean, Dubbo, for example, we've got 18.5% people were born overseas, 15.6% of our people are Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders. So we've got this great melting pot here in Dubbo. And Australia Day, to me, we can sit back and go, wow, isn't this great? Aren't we all wonderful people? Isn't everything positive? So it's all very nice and positive. But one of the things that's really positive is we get to give out Australia Day awards. We've got a number of different awards there: Citizen of the Year, Young Citizen of the Year, Sports Person of the Year, Young Sports Person of the Year, a number of different awards here in Dubbo. And then Wellington has a similar, there's a couple of different ones there in terms of Wellington. So those nominations are now open. And we do say to people, look, have a think about it. Most of the people that win these awards don't sit back and say, you know what, I'm going to start volunteering for the next 20 years because I want to win an Australia Day award in 20 years' time. Most people that win these awards are out there just doing what they do. They might be sports people, they might be involved in services to sports or in culture, a whole range of different activities in the community. And it's nice if someone else just says, you know what, gee, that person's doing a great job, I'm going to nominate them. Now, normally we go fairly well for nominations. Normally we get multiple nominations for those awards. And the really tough part, I have the honour of sitting on that committee that actually selects these winners. There's a number of people that sit on that committee. And you look through them all, sometimes you go, oh, can we give out more than one? But we've made the rule, no, you can only give one. You've got to pick one winner out of all those. But some great nominations that come in. But don't sit back and think, oh, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. If you think you've got someone in your life that would qualify or would be worthy of one of these awards, put them in, nominate them in now. Nominations close early January, I think 9th of January off the top of my head, nominations close. But Christmas, you get pretty busy here at Christmas time, so get those in now. You just go to our website, dubbo.nsw.gov.au. The nomination forms are there, download those, fill those in, and send that in. And I look forward to seeing lots of nominations come in for, again, Dubbo and Wellington.
It's nice to give some recognition to people that may not. Some people, there's some great stories I hear. I would never have heard it unless I heard other people talk about it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And even just reading out the citations on Australia Day itself, when the award winners, they have a citation read out. In other words, they've just won this award, and everyone in the audience might say, well, why did they win that award? Well, here's the citation. And reading that out, people in the audience go, wow, gee, what a great job they're doing. Or I've had people say to me things like, I need to go and volunteer more. I just heard what that person was doing. Well, they're doing so much more than I am. I could go and do a bit more than that. So it's a really nice feeling, a really positive feeling as well.
Yeah, unsung heroes, and then lift everyone up. That's nice. Right. And then just one last thing as well, and another nice bit of news. The DRTCC season launch was held Sunday afternoon, correct?
Yeah, Sunday afternoon, and that's a great event as well. The season launch has actually become an event in itself. It was originally set up just to say, here are the shows coming throughout the year, and a bit of a snapshot of some of those shows, some of those things that are occurring, obviously. But now, getting a ticket at the season launch and coming along is an event in itself. So we launched that yesterday. The subscription season is open now. So to subscribe, to be a subscriber, you basically have to commit to 3 shows out of the 22. So there's 22 shows planned for the next year, and these are incredibly popular. Like, people love to come along and see those. We've taken on some community feedback. Comedy has been really popular. So people have said, can we have some more comedy? So we've got some more comedy there. We've still got some classic ballet, for example, classic dance. So, and that's one of the things that's really interesting, I find, Corbs. When that theatre was first being built, I had people in the community and even fellow councillors say, I don't care about men in tights running around on stage. Who wants to build a theatre? Because there was a fair bit of controversy around the theatre when we were first building it, because it was expensive to build. We had to put a special rate variation through to actually build the theatre. So when you think about that, some people think the theatre is about that, but the theatre is about school presentations. It's about local amateur theatrical groups getting up there on a professional stage. It's about comedy acts coming along. So there's so much variety that we see there in what we actually see on the theatre stage. But to subscribe, you can go in, you can purchase 3 of those shows, commit to 3 of those shows, and you get first preference to these shows because the tickets don't go on sale to the general public till later on in December. And so if you subscribe, you get first choice at those tickets and make sure you can secure tickets to some of these shows. So you're not paying extra to be a subscriber. You actually just buy 3 shows, and then you get some discounts. There's discounts at restaurants, for example. We've got a few offers for people that are subscribers, and you get a free ticket to the season launch for next year, for example. So it's great. The other thing I'll mention is that the theatre now is a tourist attraction in its own right. We have almost 80,000 people go through there each year. 27% of the ticket sales go to outside 2830. So when you think about tourist attractions, you think about the zoo, you think about Old Dubbo Jar, you think about the Royal Flying Doctor Service, Visitor Experience Centre. But the theatre is a tourist attraction in its own right for people that we sell tickets to outside the area. They come along, they go to a show, they stay at a motel, they go to a restaurant, they do a bit of retail shopping, they listen to Zoo FM. So there's a whole range of things they do that contribute to our community. So it's a really good thing for our community.
Yeah, some of these things you take for granted, you just don't think about.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, there you go.
I know you've only been here for a couple of years, but there was a time back in the old days before that theatre was built that we didn't have a theatre like that. We didn't get all these great shows coming through that way.
Well, good to know. Well, thank you. We better go there because I'm just going to keep on track with the news and the weather updates and everything else coming up. But again, thank you very much for joining me in the studio this morning, Mr. Dickerson, and I hope you have a lovely day.
Always my pleasure, Corbs. Good to see you.
Thank you.